All right, let's kick it off here. Touching Tips, episode fucking 30. Fuck yourself.
Hi, guys.
Hey. Right into the hospitality shit with bar rot on your fingernails.
Yeah.
If you weren't appetized eating your breakfast before, you will be now.
Yeah. I feel like I found the secret sauce. So.
Yeah. I wish I had thought about what we were just discussing earlier in my life.
Yeah.
Because this happened to me in my life before it happened to you. And I went to like a dermatologist about it, and they were like, oh, like we just need to give you steroids in under your nail beds.
Yeah.
And like I had to sit there and like give them my hand, and they just injected me like, you know what I mean? Like in my fucking nail bed
Yeah.
with stuff. And I was just like, how do you not punch the fucking person in the face
Yeah.
doing that to you? You know what I mean? Like
How many home runs did you hit afterwards?
zero.
Fuck.
No.
That's not worth it.
It did make my shit feel if you can like feel like I don't know
The power.
Yes. I don't know if broads feel like that when they get their lips done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you could just feel like
Oh,
it
like the
being in there.
puffiness?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I gotta think it probably feels like that all the time if you get your tits done too.
Probably. Yeah.
That's
it's like
weird.
there's some
that's
foreign
weird.
object
Like you just
inside
got a
of you.
fucking couple rocks like floating around in your chest, like
Rocks.
bags of sand.
It's good to say,
You're a murderer.
Have you ever felt a pair of tits? Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. Well, speaking of feeling a pair of tits, we got a big week for the hospitality business. You got fucking Valentine's Day coming up.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice transition.
Yeah, you got any Valentine's Day plans at the airport? Any specials going on?
Nope. Yeah, I guess that is one cool thing, I guess, about where I've migrated to in the industry. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like, I don't really think Valentine's Day is a huge day at the old Village Tavern. And
Yeah.
I don't think
God, that'd be
you know,
sad.
the
Yeah.
airport's not doing much either. So,
Yeah, well, you've kind of just eliminated the peaks and valleys where it's kind of like I have to go to fucking Valentine's Day being like, great, the day before, the day after, and the day of are all going to be a goddamn nightmare.
it's like I can't wait to pour my nice craft cocktail over a bed of shit cotton candy to
It's exactly what we're
satisfy
doing.
the Cupid's kiss, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forget what we called ours this time, but it's some fucking sugary dog shit.
Bro, like I got introduced into pouring drinks over cotton candy at TGI Fridays before the Patriots lost the Super Bowl to the Giants the first time.
Yeah.
So like,
So it's
if
been
you're-
around.
It's been around. Like fucking find something new. It's so cheesy.
Yeah.
I hate it. I hate its guts.
Yeah, I'm doing like a riff on a Godfather with like mezcal tequila, and I'm doing like a Luxardo like heavy cream, like shaken, like kind of thicken it up and then like layering it on top. So that's gonna be super. I'm gonna hate the fact that I came up with this drink about like an hour and a half into service.
I mean, I hate to give you any advice to make that place any better, but if you put that shit in like a nitro can,
Yeah, I don't want to
like
do
a
that.
shaving,
though.
you're like, no, I
Yeah.
don't want to do that. My brother actually like perfected the art of doing that while we were at the bodega together.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a couple of the drink shows and shit that the owner entered us into. It's like he had all these foams and stuff to put on espresso martinis and
Yeah.
shit. I was like, nice, dude.
Well,
nice.
that's just it. So I wanted to make it like frothy, but not like whipped creamy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I want it to be like kind of like, it's like thicker, but it's not like you can't like pick it up with a spoon and eat it kind of thing. It's like still like runny.
I mean,
know?
I've definitely put those Luxardo cherries and the syrup on vanilla ice cream before and had a blast.
Yeah.
So I can't see how putting a little smoky in there
Yeah.
isn't a banger.
Yeah.
So very nice.
Little amaretto. Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, I don't know so. Valentine's Day sucks though.
What do you call? I mean, if that drink is a twist on, if it has mezcal in it and it's a
Oh, I'm
twist
call-
on a Godfather, do you call it like an abuelo?
So I'm calling it the Papi Chulo.
Ah, very nice.
Yeah.
I love it.
Pimp Daddy in
Nice.
Spanish. Yeah. Yeah. What the fuck was I gonna say? Oh yeah, Valentine's Day though sucks. Like, it's a bunch of two tops. Actually, it doesn't suck. It's super easy, but it's like the fakest, busiest day of the year. Like it's all two tops. They're all spending money, but they're all sitting. So it's like, my bar is gonna fill up once, maybe twice, and it's just gonna be a bunch of people
Yeah.
sitting around having like two drinks, sharing an appetizer, and then like just staring lovingly into their eyes. It's like this doesn't put money into my pocket.
Yeah.
It's like, get your fucking ass up and get out of here.
Get wasted and, to quote the great Tom Segura, go put the smelly pieces of their body parts into your mouth.
Yeah, there you go.
Beat it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like the only time, like, I was thinking in my head while you were talking, like, what would be like a fire Valentine's Day event? And like our man that told us about those risque parties that he was hosting, like Valentine's Day for one of those might be a banger.
Yeah. I mean, no pun intended.
Nice. Nice. I wish I was smart enough to intend that pun.
Yeah. No, well, hey, it was even more beautiful that way.
It would have been quite nice.
Super Bowl happened.
Yeah. What didn't happen?
Yeah, that was a straight like early 90s, mid 90s classic where it was just like one team beating the ever living fuck out of the other.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes could not do anything in that game. That defensive line got robbed of their Super Bowl MVPs in my opinion. Josh Sweat, Super Bowl MVP, not Jalen Hurts.
Oh,
anybody who watched that fucking game.
Yeah, like if you
Jalen Hurts was fine, don't get me wrong. Like he had a good game, but like the combination of Josh Sweat and fucking Jalen Carter, like they 1,000% won that game for the fucking Eagles.
Dude, I was trying to explain this to my wife about the Jalen Carter situation is the craziest thing I ever seen, right? This kid should have been like top 3 pick in the draft, right? And he did some boneheaded shit in the offseason between his senior year and getting drafted. Like I think he was street racing and somebody might have died in like an accident or something
I don't
related
know the details,
to it. Or somebody got hurt real bad. One of the two.
Yeah.
Where this kid should have been the next Myles Garrett playing in Cleveland or Jacksonville, you know what I mean, for 8 years before he finally says, fuck this, I'm going to play for a contender. And what does he do? He does some dumb shit to cost himself a little bit on his rookie contract, and he goes to like a Super Bowl contender right away.
Yeah.
Like it's the one time that I've ever seen like a knucklehead
actually work out
like
for them.
It was the best thing he could have did. Like, hey, do you want a time machine? I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. This literally affected me in a way to where I'm in the best situation possible.
Yeah.
R.I.P. to those involved. I'm very sorry. Go Birds.
Yeah. Failing upwards.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he was a fucking animal. They doubled him the whole game. So, like, you know, Josh Sweat got all of the stats, which don't get me wrong, he deserved them. Like 2.5 sacks, like he had like 6 tackles. But, like, you look at every single play, and Jalen Carter's still getting penetration with, like, 2 or 3 offensive line hanging off of him. You know? Like,
yeah.
It was fucking crazy. It was probably the best defensive line performance I've ever seen in a Super Bowl, and that's including, like, the Giants, like, against Brady. Like, it was
don't even think
domination from start to finish.
The Giants versus Brady, though, was not domination.
No, it was just like
Brady still made that a competitive. He walked off the field with the fucking lead.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, like, get the fuck out of here with that. To me, if anything, this reminded me of the Seahawks just totally beating the brakes off of Peyton Manning's Broncos.
Yeah.
Like,
but even that was more of like a collective defense. Like this was like the D-line straight ruined like all of the Chiefs' offensive plans.
But it was like over.
Yeah.
Like the game was over at like halftime.
Oh, the Seahawks one?
Both of them, I feel like.
The
You know
Seahawks
what I mean?
Broncos was over on the first drive.
They literally took it. They took their hearts from them. And that's what I feel like happened. Like you see all the sideline shots of like Mahomes and Kelsey and D-Hop and everybody. It's like they're not sitting there like 28-3 Brady, like laser focus, everything you got. It's like they were cooked, and I think you could see the mental exhaustion that takes on you. Like making it, like I'll give the Chiefs their props on this. Like making it to 3 straight Super Bowls, that's a tough task.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Winning all 3, even tougher task. But it's like I think you see that in all of pro sports when you get to 3-peats, 4-peats, stuff like that. It's like you talk about the mental exhaustion that the Bulls had on the second 3-peat, and the what do you call it? The Lakers fell apart trying to 4-peat with all of those like
the
former
Karl Malone,
stars
Gary
and everything.
Payton.
Like they kind of like imploded on themselves, and I think that's just kind of like what happened, you know. And also the Eagles got pressure with 4.
Yeah, but that's just it. They didn't send a blitz the whole game,
dude.
Nuts.
Like that's crazy.
They got pressure with 4 and on 50% of the dropbacks. They got a QB pressure. That's fucking crazy.
Do you think they just watched like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers like game tape? Like they're like, oh, we're just gonna do that.
Yeah, pretty much.
We should just do that.
Yeah.
Like, and it's crazy like that. It is the way to negate. Like, and I mean that's a tall task. Like we're gonna bring pressure with 4. That's tough to do in the NFL against everybody's best, the world's best. But if you can do that, the quarterbacks that have like the freestyle, if you will, the Lamar Jacksons, the Patrick Mahomes of the world. It's like now all those guys that they're throwing to have 2 guys on them. They have a spy.
Yeah.
They have now your running back isn't running the play and turning around to catch a short pass or something like that because they're stuck back there in pass protection.
Right. Yeah. I mean, if
Like,
you
it's
send
just-
it, you send an extra blitzer, the logic is that there's somebody out there open. So all you have to do is just kind of like read the coverage, figure out where he came from, and where the soft spot in the zone is going to be. But like, if you're getting 4 dudes like in your face every single time after 3 steps back, it's like I have nowhere to go with this. That's why he's throwing the picks. You know. I don't know. I think like the layman probably thinks that like Patrick Mahomes blew that game somehow, but it's like that was all on the offensive line and the scheming, honestly. That was the game where Andy Reid, he got the fuck out coached of like he just straight up got embarrassed.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how you don't like even going into half, like you at least should have like made some adjustments and been like, I guess we gotta try and get the running game going. We gotta do something. I mean, they ran the ball twice in the first half.
I mean,
Why?
Yeah.
That's wild.
there's so many. I almost feel like this is like I'm not even mad about the Patriots-Eagles second Super Bowl anymore because they took something from me on that day.
But then they gave it back.
They gave me so much more now. You know what I mean? All of this like Andy Reid's better than Belichick. Get the fuck out of here. Mahomes is the GOAT. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Kelsey's better than Gronk. Get the fuck out of here.
Well,
you know
Kelsey,
what?
all right.
No, you know what happens?
Kelsey's on the end of his career.
I don't care. You know what happens when you're getting pressure with 4? You ask the tight end to step up and block as the 5th offensive lineman.
Yeah.
That's the first rule in the book. So where was the adjustment on that? Oh, I guess Travis Kelce isn't a complete fucking tight end to be able to step up and do that. And if that's not the case, they put Kelce on the bench and put 2 running backs in the backfield and have them pass protect.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a valid point.
And also, like, kind of shame on the Chiefs as well for this is perfect. Tom Brady losing with like Jabbar Gaffney and Rashae Caldwell. Like, you brought in D-Hop at the end of his career. You got a rookie Xavier Worthy that you're lucky that he's putting the numbers up for. You let Travis Kelce get too close to his expiration date. And where the fuck is everybody else? Like, the best next weapon is Isaiah Pacheco, and you didn't want to run the fucking ball.
Well,
so like
they got a little unlucky too. Like Hollywood Brown was supposed to be that guy, but he was hurt all year. And then when he finally did come back for the playoffs, he still was like, he was getting into like playing shape. Basically, the guy hadn't played all year. So
Hollywood Brown's a free agent for a reason. The biggest thing he's got going for him is that he's in Antonio Brown's family tree. Like he's Antonio Brown's cousin. That's why
Hollywood
people
Brown
took a stab on him and continue to take a stab on him because they hope those genetics will show up on the field.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he's a better receiver than that. But I at the same time, I don't think he's like he's obviously not on like that tier 1 level. Like Hollywood Brown, if he's like your second or third option on your team, you have a very good offense, I think. But he can't be your number 1.
But
and he certainly can't be your number 1 or even 2 or 3 after having sat for the entire season and then getting like ready for the playoffs. You know? So just saying, he missed fucking 16 weeks this year. Like he wasn't ready.
Yeah,
you know?
so you know what I mean? If you saw that happening at the deadline too, like the biggest move you made was going and getting D-Hop. I feel like a lot of wide receivers changed teams at the deadline this year, and it's like you were one of the last moves to make.
Yeah.
You know,
D-Hop scored their only touchdown.
Yeah.
Or did they score 2? No, they ended up
Xavier
scoring
Worthy
2.
scored.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't think D-Hop got a touchdown. I think Xavier Worthy scored there 2 touchdowns.
No, D-Hop scored one because it was his only, well, I mean, it was only his Super Bowl appearance, but that in his career was his only Super Bowl touchdown. It was like a meaningless garbage time, like the game is out of hand, Chiefs touchdown. But yeah, I fault NFL teams for that shit all the time at the deadline. There are not nearly enough moves being made, and NFL teams think they are way better at picking players in the draft than they actually are.
Yeah.
At the deadline, if the Lions make an aggressive trade, instead of getting Zadarius Smith, who's a fine defensive lineman, if we had made a move to get Max Crosby, like give him our first-round pick. Give him our next 2 first-round picks. I don't give a fuck, especially if we're winning Super Bowls in that window.
Yeah.
Give the Raiders the 29th overall pick.
That's what I was going to say. They're going to be in the bottom half of the first round anyway. They're glorified second-round picks. Like,
you're giving up the right to draft a offensive guard who maybe like starts like 6 games for you. Like who gives a fuck? Anyway, but like we get Max Crosby, we maybe win the Super Bowl. We didn't, though, and we fucking got bounced in the first round in the most disappointing, heartbreaking fashion imaginable. Like,
and now you're going to go draft that tackle that's a meaningless fucking addition to your team.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like,
and honestly,
cool, I got a guy that can help me on rotations.
Yeah, and honestly, now you look at our team, and you have to start paying people. So, like, you're not going to be able to keep this team together anymore anyway. So it's like now all of a sudden the window's starting to close, and it's like, feels like the window just opened. The moment you think you have a team that can contend for a Super Bowl, you need to do everything with the Rams. The Rams are actually, I love their model. What they do is they're just like, we're either going to fucking suck or we're going to sell everything to win right now, you know? And they do. Like, they consistently end up, like, either in the playoffs, in the hunt. Like, they almost beat that Eagles team. They could have won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
They either end up in the hunt or they end up fucking 5-13 or 5-12, and they don't give a shit, you know? Like, that's the model that everyone should be doing in the NFL, in my opinion.
That's funny. I was watching that game with the spirit of Brennan behind me.
What, the Eagles-Rams?
Yeah. And I was like, are we still rooting for Stafford? Like, but you weren't like getting back to me. And I was like, whatever, he's busy. And then you text me back. You're like, I'm at my son's basketball game. And I'm like, well, I'm fucking rooting for your boy right now.
Well, I mean, I'm still rooting for him, but I have other obligations, unfortunately.
Yeah, I was rooting for Stafford on that.
Yeah. I think, I mean, Stafford is so, I don't want to turn this into a Matt Stafford loving conversation, but I love Matt Stafford.
He's
wildly underrated.
The Rams are in a pickle right now, though, for what you're talking about, though, because like basically
they're in that transition.
They're not going to find a suitor to take Cooper Kupp's contract, and they have to. Matthew Stafford's only due to make like $25 million this year. Like that's backup money at this point in the NFL. So it's like they're gonna have to either trade him to a team that wants to extend him or extend him themselves. And what are they gonna do? Cut Cooper Kupp and just eat the dead money? Nobody's going to trade for a fucking guy that's hurt all the time, making $20-something million a year. And he's got 2 years left at like $20-something million a piece. You know what I mean? Like,
Matt Stafford, though, I mean, I don't know this for a fact, but he strikes me as the kind of guy who understands. I mean, he played for a lot of bad Detroit Lions teams. I mean, he did not win for a long period of time. I'm sure he understands it like Brady did, where it's like, he's not going to get $52 million for 2 years. He's going to settle for $35 for the 2 because he wants that $15 million to pay somebody else to come in and catch the fucking ball. You know? Like, he's not going to want to spend the last 2 years of his career floundering and missing the playoffs.
Should he want to spend his career with the Rams, though? Like at this point, they're kind of showing like, oh, are you being cheapskates? Like you don't want to pay Cooper Kupp anymore. You're looking at it.
I think at this stage, Cooper Kupp also isn't as young as you think he is.
You let Aaron Donald leave, and you know what I mean. Like nothing to come from that. Like
Aaron Donald retired, so I mean, there's nothing you could do about that. And then Cooper Kupp, like he's not as young as you think he is. Cooper Kupp is more like when the Packers, got rid of Jordy Nelson. It's like, well, the tread was already off those tires anyway. Like the odds of Cooper Kupp having another 1,000-yard wide receiver season in him, I think are kind of slim at this point. Like I just don't think he's that kind of guy anymore. Like if I had to guess, I bet you he's like 30, 31.
I can still see him being like a solid like.
And you got Puka Nacua, who has been a fucking awesome player for them. So I think you could build around him. Maybe either draft a wide receiver or see what's like on the fucking scrap heaps for like wide receiver. I mean, there's a few, like Hollywood Brown would be a great place for him to land, honestly, I
don't know, man. I think
Matt Stafford still got the gun in him. He can fucking sling it. I would love to see Hollywood Brown fucking tearing the top off defenses. And that's the problem, too, is that Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua are kind of like, you look at them and you're like, possession receivers, get the ball in space, they can fucking route run like a motherfucker. It's kind of like you're the same, like, same, but different.
I mean, I made the comment when I texted you. I was like, this is what it felt like. Because basically I'm watching the game with, I'm pretty sure Stafford's got the ball in his hand to win the game.
Yeah.
And he's got essentially Edelman and Amendola.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like, this is what it was like, bro. This is what it was like.
Yeah.
And I'm like fully preparing for him to go win the game because I believed in Matthew Stafford at the time. And I don't know, man. If you take Cooper Kupp out of there, like they're just going to put your best corner on Puka. And they're going to fuck you up.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
To me, like, if the Rams
you can still replace Cooper Kupp, though, with somebody who isn't as expensive as Cooper Kupp is right now.
I guess. I don't know.
And also, I think you can do that complements the offense more. Whatever. I mean, they'll figure it out. And like I said, or what they'll do is they'll send fucking, the Dolphins a fucking 2028 first-round pick for Tyreek Hill, because who gives a shit?
Yeah.
I'm not worried about 2028. I want to win now,
He was just back on the pods being like, I didn't mean it. I love Miami. My kids love the beach.
Yeah. I
don't want to go anywhere. We're building something special.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
They're not winning
you're building a fucking special needs 35-year-old in a wheelchair by continuing to let fucking
Tua.
Tua go out there and play football.
Yeah. Did we reach our quota for football talk?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Should probably move on.
All right. Yeah, I don't know. What are you thinking here?
What's the transitionary here? What do we got on the agenda? I got told I look like Finn Balor from the WWE by a 60-year-old man with not a whole lot of teeth at the airport.
That's awesome. I don't know who Finn Balor is. But,
neither do I. I said, who? And he said, you don't watch WWE? I said, no.
Why was there so much accusation?
I haven't watched WWE since it's called WWF, and like Yokozuna was like sitting on the Undertaker. Yep. Like that's how long it's been.
Fucking natural disasters.
Yeah, like I didn't even
fucking earthquake.
When I was in middle school, I feel like wrestling was still big, like like Stone Cold, The Rock, all this shit. But I like fell off. I don't know why. Like I got into like Tony Hawk and like skateboard. No, I wasn't into drugs.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I didn't get into.
That's what happened to me. I was like, wait a minute, I could do drugs. This is way better.
I was like a kid that was proud to say I didn't need drugs to have fun all the way until halfway through my senior year of high school.
See,
like everything I was doing was like adrenaline junkie shit. Yeah. You know what I mean? I don't know why I got off the wrestling. Like if you look at it, it's like, oh
that
shit, like
lines up perfectly.
Bro, these kids in my middle school, like the teacher must have knew what was going on. He was just like one of the boys, and he was like, let him get it out of the system for the day. But like he'd have like this homeroom, right? And the kids would move all the desks into like that would be like the ring.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you would just like play wrestle. You know what I mean? Like they'd be like lifting you up and giving you like fucking I forget all the names of the moves. You know what I mean? But like the other kids would like catch you and shit. You know what I mean? Like it'd be like this fun thing. And like it would just be like this mayhem, and I was never into it. But sometimes I would go into that home room I forget why I would go in there. One of my other friends was in there or some shit.
Yeah.
And I would just see these kids like, bro, what the fuck? Like, how do you guys not get in trouble for this shit?
Yeah.
Especially me being like one of like the skate punk kids now. Like we get in trouble for everything.
Right.
And it's like you
guys can beat the shit out of each other.
Yeah. Like you guys are wearing like your like Tommy Hilfiger Carpenter jeans and like your Grant Hill Fila's. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like being proper little gentlemen, and you get away with all this.
Yeah. Bullshit.
Yeah. I'm just going around stealing all of the safety pins out of the fire extinguishers like a well-behaved young man.
We in boarding school we used to have like that was around the same time as like Fight Club being released.
Yeah.
So we were literally just like in the biggest, because there were bigger rooms for like the seniors and shit. So the top floor of the seniors would like fucking host like Fight Club shit where like everybody would be in like one room, and in the middle they would just like pit like two people who were like of similar weight class against each other. Boxing gloves, just go at it. It was fucking wild.
With boxing gloves?
Yeah, the whole nine. It was like you walk into it, you're just like you feel like you're in like the basement of like a Vietnamese like betting den. You're like, what the fuck is going on? Like we were gambling on it and shit. It was awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but we only lasted maybe like 5 or 6 fights before we got broken up. Some kid ended up getting like concussed pretty bad, and they were like, what happened to you? And he was like, I got the shit beat out of me upstairs. It's like, well, we can't have that. Fucking kid ruined it for everybody.
Dude, that just made me think
I was 2-0.
Nice.
Yeah. I beat up a skinny Jamaican kid, and then my roommate who was like a tennis player. So it was kind of unfair. I was always more scrappy because I was like skinnier and like just a piece of shit who would just like do anything, punch people in the balls. I didn't give a fuck, So,
yeah. I'm like
nobody else was ready for that.
I'm like 0-5 in all Fight Club events I've ever entered into.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, but I mean, don't get me wrong. This is a weight class determined thing where it's kind of like because I was tall and skinny, I got like matched with like the shorter, fatter kids or something. Then I would just beat their asses.
This is my issue would be that I had like a wrestling background, so I would always go for the takedown. Yeah. In going for the takedown, like I would just
getting peppered,
destroyed. It was like I remember the first my boy Mark. He had a roommate, and it was when Fight Club. I guess when we saw Fight Club, this is like my freshman year of college.
Yeah.
So we like go out to like this quad, and we got boxing gloves and stuff like this. So me and my boy Mark get gloves, and then we fight these other two kids that got gloves, and they were both like black kids of like the same weight, height, everything. You know what I mean? And they beat the fuck out of us, bro. It was a merciless. Like it was the first time I ever had like hands thrown at me like that. Just where I had, you know what I mean?
Yeah, there are hands coming from everywhere.
Yeah, like that might have been like the first time in my life. Like the most depressing, sad thing that happened to me was like my high school girlfriend like cheated on me.
Yeah,
and just broke my heart and everything like that. But after I got my ass kicked by those black kids, I was like,
this is worse.
There's worse things in life, Ryan. There's worse things in life. You gotta fucking man up and get your life together, bro.
This is worse.
Oh no, I lost our spot in the fucking.
That's all right.
In the realm.
Yeah, I mean, in like real actual fights, I've only really been in a couple. I feel like I'm like 500-ish.
Another time I fucking got in a fight with my girlfriend in college, and I just took off to go like skateboard the anger away, and I like hit a rock in my wheel and like went flying. And another time I got my ass beat by two black guys they fucking start laughing at me. I'm like, oh, you think that's fucking funny? And then, like, the dumbest move ever, I throw my board as I'm, like, walking towards them. So now I, like, try to
Now you have no weapon.
on a 2-on-1 fight with no weapon and just get blasted. And it's, like, right in front of, like, my leasing office. So I have to go in there the next day, and they're like, what was that all about? And I'm like, dude, you guys got to do a better job while keeping people that don't live here. And they're like, we saw the whole thing. Like, you walked up to them. And I'm like, you don't understand. They were making fun of me because I fell on my skateboard.
Yeah.
And they're just like, wow, I don't think we're going to renew your lease next time around because you are a fucking psychopath, sir. Yo, how about speaking of like the Chinese betting thing? Have you heard anything else about this Terry Rozier situation?
No, is Terry Rozier the MLB ump?
No, Terry Rozier used to play for the Celtics. They used to call him Scary Terry.
Oh, yeah.
And I think the Celtics either traded him or he signed a new deal with the Hornets. And in his time with the Hornets, he has now been under federal investigation for like point shaving or like whatever the thing may be. There's a dude from the Raptors that got a lifetime ban.
Yeah. Well, I know that one. That was the guy who he was like a fucking G leaguer, wasn't he?
He bet like $1 million on his under.
Yeah.
And I guess like I remember reading a lot more about this, and like the people were like, dude, it's such like if there's $1 million bet out there, it's like something's up.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
what I mean? Like, so why would you do this?
Yeah.
Like, so unless you're like Phil Mickelson or something like that, but yeah, I don't know. I put that on the list to do some digging about it, and I never
actually dug about it.
Doing no digging. So
yeah, no, I just assume that like at this point in time, most of the NBA, most of professional athletes are gambling. So.
I just thought about this too. Chicks at the restaurant bar or whatever, when they asked me for like hot sauce.
Yeah.
At the, for their home fries or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like it just brings me up this funny thing that our old boy San Diego Whale's vagina said. He's like, yeah, I got this toilet paper where it turns the color of blood when you're done wiping. And I always thought that was such a fucking great joke. And now, like, every time some broad asks me for Tabasco sauce, I'm like, you wipe until the color of blood shows up as well. You're one of the boys.
The first time that happens to you, you are kind of like, oh my God, I'm dying. And then you realize, like, no, you're just an idiot who wiped their ass way too many times.
Yeah.
Just fucking had a sloppy shit.
Oh, what about when you have, like, beets?
Oh, yeah.
You don't know about that. You're like, holy shit. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. I've been eating. I usually eat pretty good, and like this whole week, I've been eating like shit. Like I've had like pizza like 2 or 3 times. My wife and I made like a charcuterie board a couple times with like cheese and wheat thins, like all this shit I don't normally eat, bro. And I just been shitting, bro.
Yeah,
shitting.
I was doing so well until like the weather turned, man. I can't like fucking go out running in like 18-degree weather, and then like on top of that, you got Super Bowl and shit, and I was like eating like fucking sausage and peppers and shit on like a fucking hoagie roll and chicken wings and buffalo dip.
I went down the chips and cracker aisle like a fucking fatherless white girl in a room full of men only wearing sneakers, bro. Yeah. I fucking grabbed everything I could. I got like everything that I've been banned from eating by the wife. I was like, it's the Super Bowl. Yeah, I can have it.
Exactly.
And now, like 3 days removed from it, I'm like,
well, because you still have all that shit in your
I still
fucking
got like
house.
a half a bag of all these fucking everything that I got.
What turns into like it was like a Super Bowl binge is now like, well, I guess the rest of my February is just fucked.
Yeah. I was like, well, I'm not going to throw these Percocets that the doctor gave me away. I'm going to take them slowly over time.
So fucking my Achilles heel is Girl Scout cookies, and it was Girl Scout cookie season. My friends or my kid's friend's sister or whatever fucking was selling them, so we bought like 6 boxes of these motherfuckers, and my wife doesn't eat them, so I've just been eating 6 boxes of fucking Girl Scout cookies.
Why doesn't your wife eat them?
Because she has self-control.
Yeah, what the fuck is up with that? My wife, it's like her favorite thing to do is tell herself no.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like she'll just like look at something and be like, ah. Yeah. I'm like, well, what the fuck?
Yeah. It's like, what are you, a fucking Martian?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, she, I don't know. I would eat fucking caramel delights, although I call them Samoas, and fucking Thin Mints like for every meal every day for the rest of my life.
Did that get like PC'd or something?
I don't know. Like, I always use...
Is a Samoa like a fucking man from Hawaii or something? So you can't call them that anymore?
I guess
like
not. They're caramel delights.
The Girl Scout cookies?
You know, I think it's a regional thing, actually, because I think in Connecticut, I think there are different states that get, like, the different names or whatever. I don't know why that is and why I know this much about Girl Scout cookies.
Just the spot that you work at, does it still have that eclectic shop behind it on the side street?
Yeah.
That motherfucker sells Girl Scout cookies.
Really?
And he's got them in the window all the time. So when I worked there, bro, there wouldn't be a day during the season that I wouldn't pop in and be like, yeah, let me get a Thin Mint and a peanut butter, and I'll be out your hair.
Damn. Those aren't for resale. He's fucking breaking the law. I'm okay with it, though.
Maybe his fucking daughter's a Girl Scout or some shit, or his granddaughter at this point. Yo, that dude's a G. Like, he watches his security footage, and anytime there's, like, a car break-in or anything, he, like, tracks the people down and is like, hey.
It was them?
Here's the footage.
It's like the fucking Batman.
I'm pretty sure he did it to C that you work with. I think she had a window get smashed out, and he gave her the footage or something.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. A few times I've heard that guy. And I remember one time he has like one of those like A-frame signs that he puts out on the corner. And it was like a bad storm. It was or some dickhead like fucking just dragged it. Like no, they didn't kick it over. But it was way far away from home. You know what I mean? I think she picked it up and brought it back. Was like, yo, remember that time you did that shit for me? Respect.
Yeah.
Like, I was.
There you go.
Cool,
it all comes back.
Yeah. Yo, what about? I just looked down at this and I sent you that picture of that movie shelf.
Yeah.
And you just lazily picked like all of the Indiana Jones movies.
Yeah. That's because that's the answer.
Nah, bro. There's some good bang. I feel
doesn't matter. But the Indiana Jones original trilogy is the best three movies I would want to watch.
I don't think you respect comedy.
Of course I do. What comedy was on there that is better than Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom?
I'm pretty sure that both of the greatest Adam Sandler movies were available to pick.
Doesn't matter. They're not as good as Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
What about? And also, I feel like it gives you a date of like you're in like the 2000s maybe.
Yeah.
I forget what the date range is, right? But I remember looking at this and being like, I'm probably a horny young man. So give me the Bordello of Blood or whatever that was in the top corner.
It's like American Pie on there too.
I guts to be oh damn, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, I don't know.
You remember the days of just having to jerk off to fucking like random scenes in movies?
Yeah.
These kids don't know how good they have it.
You said that, and I feel like my brain was like right away. It's like, bro, one time you jerked off to Shania Twain, and I feel like a woman. I was like, holy shit, yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Let me think if I can remember what the fucking weirdest thing I've jerked off to. I mean, I obviously used to have to fucking go in the bathroom and like whack it off to like some like hand model in like a fucking home and garden fucking magazine.
Like the J.C. Penney,
exactly.
Like not even the Victoria's Secret catalog. You know what I mean? Like the wholesome granny panties.
Yeah, you would fucking do it just because there was like she was tilted enough where like the boob you could kind of see the outline of.
Yeah. True imagination, bro.
Yeah, dude. You had to work for it to fucking bust it up back in the day.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Now it's like sometimes it's like they got it so dialed in. I see like 1 second of it. I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Well, see, I didn't even enjoy that one. That one got out of me so fast.
It's happening.
Yo, what about this next one on the list where I don't know why it came. Oh, because there's a fucking dog at the airport. Here's another funny boneheaded thing I did, right? So they got dogs at the airport, right?
Yep.
And I guess they're like, what do you call these things?
Dogs?
Like, they're not dogs for adoption. They're like dogs to like help people feel better about themselves.
Oh, the emotional support animals?
Yeah. But they're like, I've only ever seen this one dog, Jasmine, and she's like a German Shepherd mix, so I love her.
Yeah.
She looks like my dog, so I always go and give her some love when I can. And I've only ever seen her on like the concourse, right? So I go down, and when you leave the airport, you go down through baggage claim and then back up through the thing. So I get down to baggage claim, and all the emotional support dogs are down there. And I'm like, these motherfuckers are already done flying. Like, what do they need these dogs for? Like, you got them in the wrong spot, motherfucker. Like, nobody's coming in this area of the airport that hasn't already gone through the trauma of
already flying. Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is the point of this? So, to me, I don't recognize them as emotional support dogs. I think being in, like, the dog community, that these are people trying to get these dogs adopted.
Right.
Right. So I'm giving Jasmine some love. I've taken a couple selfies with her and tagged her Instagram page with it and shit like this. And also, like, why does your dog have an Instagram page if you're not trying to get her adopted?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So she's like, Jasmine, the princess pup, whatever. So I posted with her, and a couple people show interest as they're leaving, and I'm like taking the photo with her. And I'm like, don't leave. Take her with you. She's up for adoption. Get her a car. Da, da, da. And the owner's like, she's not up for adoption. Like, looking at me like I'm a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so I was like, oh man, I'm so sorry about that. And now I have like a 5-minute walk to get back to my car to process how much of a fucking idiot I am. You know what I mean?
I mean, you're not an idiot. You were honestly just assuming that somebody else in the world was a good human being, whereas instead they're using this dog to get Instagram likes and monetize.
That aren't even like there. Yeah. I don't know if it's like big enough to monetize it. You know what I mean? But it's like still like somebody's liking this dog
I bet
picture,
you if you share
and
pictures
you're
of
getting
dogs.
the dopamine from it. You know, so
whatever it is. Yeah.
I was just like, damn, bro. So they're just fucking like, and also like, what? So anyway, so I'm talking about the dog to my wife, and it dawns on me. I go, why is this name so fucking catchy to me? Like, why? Who is Princess Jasmine? And I'm like, oh,
Aladdin.
It's the bitch from Aladdin. Yeah. And she's like, I fucking can't believe the bitch who doesn't know who Bam Margera is telling me that I fucking should be ashamed of myself for not knowing Princess Jasmine right away, right? Which, to me, in my head, I'm like, yo, she's probably the Disney princess I'd fuck first. Like, she's a sexy little piece. Like, so, especially from my youth, you know what I mean? It's like a redhead fish and like a bunch of like blonde princesses. Like, give me a little bit of seasoning in my life. Yeah. So then I'm like, where is Princess Jasmine from? Because I can get kind of
Saudi Arabia.
I can get kind of you don't belong here with some of these guys, you know. So I look it up, and originally before production, you know where it was set?
Where?
In Iraq.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean,
they're from Iraq. They're fucking Iraqis, bro. Aladdin and Princess Jasmine are fucking Iraqis. And then when the Gulf War broke out, Disney was like, well, we got to make up a fake name because they can't be from Iraq anymore.
Yeah, but the song in it is Arabian Nights. So that means it's got to be in Saudi Arabia, no?
Dude, this is from Wikipedia. I don't know what to tell you. Either somebody's fucking with me, but this is the research that I did for
I think
our
Wikipedia
pod.
is just trying to convince you that Disney is Iraqi.
No.
I'm just saying. Yeah. What?
We all know who runs Disney.
Saddam Hussein.
Yes.
Yeah.
How about our boy Ohtani, where they gave his boy 57 months.
Oh yeah.
That's 4.75 years. So you said that you would do that
for 17 mil? Yeah.
No. He has to pay 17 million in restitution.
Oh well, yeah, but I'm sure.
So what
amount of money would it take me to do
But he's still going to have to give Ohtani that 17 million back officially.
Yeah.
To get off the restitution list. So whatever his payment was has to be plus the 17 mil. Like Ohtani just can't say, "Oh, I don't want that anymore."
Yeah.
Because now it's a judgment on him. So now he has to pay it.
4.5. All right, so 4.75.
So you're missing your son's entire high school career and their freshman year of college essentially for however many millions of dollars.
4.75. I'd be out by. So it would be seventh.
Because you're not taking into like good behavior and stuff.
Yeah, dude, I'm out by his sophomore year. I'm good with that. No, I'm out by his junior year. But yeah, that's fine. So timeline, obviously,
I'm
not
home
ideal.
in time to tell him to use rubbers.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd probably say, you know what, double it. 34 mil, I'd do that all day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody says they want to do shit for money, but put the money up and I'm sucking dick real quick.
I mean, that's just a number off the top of my head. I mean, if you want to be like, goes like a base number, 5 years of my life, 17 million right off the bat, I have to pay back to the fucking dude. Taxes. For a year of prison, I'd want to get paid like $1 million a year. So yeah, 22.
Dude, you're worth more than that, Brennan. $1 million a year for prison?
Yeah. I mean, you get out, you're retired, you know?
I guess.
And also, I'm like a charming guy. I bet you I could get away with it, you know? Like, I bet you I wouldn't have too many problems in prison.
I could make some toilet wine.
Exactly. I'm a resourceful dude. People like me, you know? I don't think I'll get butt fucked too much.
Could make a flavored heavy cream for these fellas real quick out of some... Oh, man.
I don't know. You see a bunch of dudes like on like the fucking, you know, TikTok and Instagram or whatever who are like old felons or whatever who are just like normal white guys who just were like, yeah, I went to jail for like 4 years. It's like, I don't know. If they could do it, I could do it.
Yeah.
How bad could it be? You fucking read some, you fucking lift some weights, you watch your cornhole. That's about it.
Did I tell you I waited on a guy at the airport that was flying home after doing a 25-year bid?
Damn.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, what did you do?
What? Oh, I know.
That's
yeah.
drugs or murder.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like racket
or rape.
Drug.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
I never asked him. I was like, hey,
you should have asked him for his what is his paperwork?
Best wishes. Yeah, let me see your papers before you can sit at my bar anymore.
Let me see your jacket.
I mean, that dude is a more stand-up individual. He did his time. He's going home. He's excited to see his abuela.
Yeah.
And then the next person that I have to talk about on this list, this guy gives me a $10 credit card tip, right?
Yeah.
And then he says, never mind. Don't put that in. I'm going to give you cash instead. and I say, my man, you're a good person. So I break a 20 for him, and then they proceed to leave me $6 cash instead of the $10 on the credit card.
He just
tip.
basicate kept the taxes?
Yeah, and I was like,
asshole.
That's what I kind of thought of. Like, did you purposefully do that? Or like, did you write that and then your wife put the money down? I don't understand what happened here.
Yeah.
But like, I should have fucking killed you in front of everybody at the airport. Or I should have at least like asked you, be like, hey man, can you just explain to the other fucking 10 seats here what the logic was behind this?
I think that was the logic. The logic was, I'm going to give this guy a $10 credit card tip. Oh, wait a minute. The government takes probably 40% of that. You know what? Never mind, actually. I'm just going to leave you a $6 cash tip.
Yeah.
It's like, the taxes don't go to you, motherfucker.
Unbelievable. Yeah. Like, unbelievable. Like, I couldn't imagine, like one time I went out to this family dinner, and this is when I was drinking. I can't believe I held my tongue at this point, but I'm at the bar, like waiting to grab a couple of drinks for my wife and I, and the rest of like the people are at the bar, right?
Yeah.
And the one guy, he gets a bunch of drinks and he just throws $1 on the bar, and like one of his, his nephew or something is like, bro, you got to leave like more than that or something. He's made some kind of remark like, fuck this bartender or some shit. You know what I mean? And like, I don't know, you didn't put two and two together that I was standing there or what I did for a living. You know what I mean? But like the kid that he said that to was definitely like, fuck. Like, so it was like this awkward thing for like the whole rest of the time being like, you know what I mean? Like, I think the cousin must have been like, yo, man, you fucking said that shit in front of Ryan. And like, now I'm like trying to just be like, nah, it's cool. I didn't hear nothing. You know what I mean? Like, but this is a pretty funny thing. And I can't remember who it was, but I'm pretty sure it's like one of the, like, now we make fun of him for like multiple like other like
offenses.
Yeah, like he is like that guy.
You don't have
like, it was him? Yeah, no shit. Like
you don't have an opinion like that unless you're like a piece of shit in almost every other aspect of your life. So
Yeah, I mean, I know we forgot about, or we left off football behind, but I forgot to put this gem in there. It's like, good thing DeAndre Hopkins' mom didn't have to see that performance.
She dead?
No, she's blind.
Oh, shit, that's somehow even better.
And he also wore a coat, like I guess DeAndre Hopkins' dad died when he was a kid, and all he left him was like this fur coat, and he got it all nice and tailored and everything to wear to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And
then
they just
that
did you
happened.
dirty like that, There was a point in time where if D-Hop got traded to my team, I would have been souped about it, though.
Yeah, I mean, D-Hop was a top 3 wide receiver in football for like a 3-year period of time.
His mom's not even blind because she was born that way. His mom's blind because some crazy person threw acid on her.
Holy shit.
Yeah, like she's like Harley Quinn or some shit.
She's Two-Face?
She's like the girl Joker.
Yeah. Damn.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, and one more thing about football, too. Cancer couldn't kill Jim Kelly, but Jalen Hurts killed the curse of Jim Kelly.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. We don't have to hear about that anymore. So does that just mean that like all these other quarterbacks are just actually fucking losers?
Well, yeah. I mean, look at the quarterbacks that were on that list. It's like Rex Grossman.
Jim Kelly might be the only one that's actually, you'd be like, I fuck with him.
Yeah. And even then,
like I don't care if you didn't win one. If you go to 4 straight, probably pretty fucking good at football.
Hold on. What is the stat?
The curse of Jim Kelly is that if you go to a Super Bowl and you lose your first one, you never win another one.
I mean, that's not true anyway. You had fucking John Elway. Right? Those Broncos teams went to the Super Bowl.
Didn't John Elway win?
No, he won his last 2 Super Bowls. But before that, he lost. I think he lost fucking 3 Super Bowls.
He lost 3 to start. Yeah, but that maybe because those.
I mean, I don't know how else you can like define this.
You got to look at the timeline of like when Jim Kelly loses versus when.
Like
I want to say that those
Jim Kelly.
I want to say those Elway.
Yeah, they were before Jim Kelly.
They were before Jim Kelly. So like Jim Kelly starts off a run of if you lose your first appearance in the Super Bowl,
you don't win the next one. Okay.
No, you don't. You never
win
it. And like the list is essentially like.
All right, but
in recent history, it's like Brock Purdy, Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah, well, like I said,
I'm embarrassed that I can't go that further back.
Yeah,
but there was
Rex
like
Grossman,
a decent list
Neil
going
O'Donnell.
of,
But that's just it. You're listing like a who's who of like shitty quarterbacks that played on teams that were much better than they were, and then of course they never made it back to a Super Bowl and won it.
Each season's iteration of like Trent Dilfer, essentially.
Joe Burrow.
Yeah. You fucking yo.
Oh, I got like in a fucking argument last night over Joe Burrow actually. With like, I'll give her credit. She like knew like a decent amount about football, except for the fact that she just like had like some sort of like torch that she was holding for Joe Burrow, because I mentioned it where she was fucking hating on Lamar Jackson. So she was like, he can't win the fucking big game, blah blah blah, yada yada. And I'm kind of just like, yeah, I mean, sure, but like he doesn't really have like the same offensive weapons that other guys have. Like Zay Flowers had a good year this year, but before that it was like Rashad Bateman who was his number one. Like he just hasn't had like, he's the main part of his offense. So it's like he needs to be the third or fourth best player on his team for him to win a Super Bowl in that model. And then I went on to be like Joe Burrow, how Joe Burrow has, Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, and how he wouldn't be shit without either of those guys. Like, and then she proceeded to like be like, Joe Burrow should win the MVP, and blah blah blah. And it was like, and then I was like fucking saying like, well, Lamar Jackson like had his team let him down too, and she was like, well, Joe Burrow only lost because they got off to a slow start this season. It's like, did his team get off to a slow start? And it's like, well, it's different. It's like, no, it's not. Why are you gonna shit on this fucking guy for not winning the big game and then give this other dude a pass because it was his team?
Yeah.
It wasn't even his fucking team anyway. He was playing like dog shit.
I mean,
fucking Patriot game, he scored 16 points against the fucking Patriots.
Yeah.
Like, go fuck yourself.
It's crazy if those teams go back in time and reverse that, the Patriots still get the first pick and the Bengals make the playoffs.
Oh yeah.
Like if you reverse the take of week one.
Anyway, don't get me wrong, the Bengals were a dangerous team down the stretch. I wouldn't have wanted to see him in the playoffs if I were an AFC team. But at the same time, like, if you switch Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson, flip-flop them, keep each team the same, I think Lamar Jackson's Bengals make the playoffs and Joe Burrow's Ravens do not. That's simple as that. Like, I think Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, that whole offense is like a better unit.
I don't think either team has success in the playoffs.
Yeah, well, I think that's just because neither one of them has like a very good defense.
I think Joe. Yeah, but I think it all goes back to the fact that like Lamar is not a fucking precise pocket passer. So like,
but he doesn't have to be.
If Lamar, if the Ravens, yeah, but maybe he doesn't have to be. But if you want to have success in the playoffs and you need to perform a precise 2-minute drill to win the game, I don't think you're going to do that. Freestyling. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to do that
if you're freestyling with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. I don't think you can freestyle with Zay Flowers and Rashad Bateman.
Maybe, yeah.
The bottom line is you chuck it up, and Jamar Chase is going to come down with it one way or another. So, and you couple that with Lamar Jackson's ability to escape the pocket and just break off a 16-yard run whenever he wants.
Throw the ball on the ground for no reason when it matters the most. Like, that's what I come down to.
Yeah.
Like, 4 out of the last 5 years, Lamar Jackson's worst game of the season has been the playoff game.
Yeah, but
like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, I used to love Lamar. I'm pretty sure he's my quarterback in our fucking dynasty league. Like, I'm off of him. I shouldn't even say that on tape, 'cause now I'm gonna get lowballed on fucking but you know what I mean? But like, it's just like it's unbelievable.
Yeah, but I mean, part of that is because guess what? Guess who you play in the playoffs? The best team you probably played all year.
But also I feel like this MVP race, I feel like was one of the first ones that I can remember where it really was like, if you looked at stats, it was like a 3-man race, and it was tough to. There were points to make for all sides. Like, there wasn't like, normally I feel like I can logic it out with like a few stats. And it was like I would hear a stat about Joe Burrow, and I'd be like, "Oh, damn! Like, that's crazy." He didn't
make the playoffs. He just not an MVP.
Yeah, but nobody's ever put up the the MVP's a regular season. I don't want to hear about the playoffs. Like, what did you do in the regular season?
And he didn't win games.
But nobody has ever put up the numbers that Burrow put up and not won the MVP.
Yeah, that doesn't matter though.
But then you take it to Lamar and Josh Allen, and there's similar things to say about both of these guys. So to me, this is like the first time that it was like, dude, like. I honestly like don't know who it should have been.
Yeah.
Because especially if you're just supposed to judge it as a regular season award and the playoffs don't mean anything, like, to me, it's almost like I feel like Burrow should have won it.
No. Joe Burrow shouldn't have won it because the reason that he has all of these numbers and people have that stat where they're like, this is anytime this has happened, they win the MVP. It's like, well, they're playing one extra game a year. And on top of that, it's never been more of a pass-happy league.
That's a valid
It's never
point.
been more of a pass-happy league than it is now. So, like, of course he's going to have the best stats. And guess what? Next year, somebody's going to do the same thing and not win the MVP. And in 5 years from now, somebody's going to do even better and not win the MVP. It's the evolution of the league.
You know what's
and also, you need to win fucking games to be the most valuable player. How fucking valuable can you be if you... Congratulations, you've now earned your team the 17th overall pick. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, nobody does. Eat shit. That's not valuable. value at all, you know?
But
Saquon Barkley,
Saquon
Barkley is the MVP of the league.
Yeah, I like that.
That should have been the pick. He had one of the best offensive seasons running back has ever had for a team that made it to the Super Bowl and won it. I mean, granted, they gave out the award beforehand, but that should be something that takes into account. Like, of course he was the most valuable player. He wasn't on that team this year, he wasn't on the team last year and the year before where they lost in the fucking playoffs and then lost in the Super Bowl. They added Saquon Barkley and they won this fucking Super Bowl by fucking 20. Like, yes, he was the most valuable player. I'm granted he didn't show up for the play.
Give me an award for most valuable offensive player that the quarterback can't win it.
Well, that used to be.
Make that award up.
Yeah.
Or don't let the quarterback win the MVP anymore.
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like,
to me, it's just like, I don't think, it's like Super Bowl MVP, for instance, right? They gave it to Jalen Hurts because he's the quarterback and he had 2 touchdowns a pick, or, a rushing touchdown too. He had a decent game. But, yeah, the most valuable player on the field at any given moment is always going to be the quarterback, right? However, I think they need to start thinking about, like, what would that game have looked like if it wasn't Jalen Hurts and it was Kirk Cousins?
Yeah, make a war adjustment.
Yeah, would Kirk Cousins have won that game for the Eagles? I mean, this past year, probably not. But what's a better example? Who's like a middling quarterback who like probably could have been plugged in there? Give me Matt Stafford. Matt Stafford at this stage of his career. Matt Stafford on the Eagles, does he win that Super Bowl? I think he does. You put Russell Wilson. I mean, even last year, you put Russell Wilson on the Eagles. Do they win that Super Bowl? I kind of think they do. Like, that wasn't the most important position on the field in that given day, and the gulf between Jalen Hurts and somebody else wasn't wide enough. Like, you take Jalen Carter off of that Eagles team, like, do they win the Super Bowl? I think it's an honest question to be like, I don't know if they do.
Yeah.
Like,
he shouldn't even be there in the first place.
Yeah.
You circle back to the opening minutes of the show.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, so, I mean, I think, I think the NFL MVP last year was Saquon Barkley. I think the Super Bowl MVP was Josh Sweat or Jalen Carter. And I think the Coach of the Year was Dan motherfucking Campbell and not the guy who fucking Dan Campbell beat twice last year. I don't know who's voting for these fucking things.
Why? Who'd they give the Coach of the Year to?
They gave it to fucking Kevin O'Connell, the coach of the Vikings. He lost twice to the fucking Lions. Twice.
That seems silly to me.
It was fucking stupid. I thought Dan Campbell was going to run away with it. Like, I was fucking blown away to find out that, like, not only did he not run away with it, but he didn't even fucking win the goddamn thing.
Yeah.
It's fucking ridiculous. Most people should all lose their fucking vote.
I wonder if they let the players vote for that. I'd be interested to see that, too.
No, it's like I looked into it because I was literally about to burn people's fucking houses down over it. But, like, 20% of it is is like a fan vote thing. But, like, that's only 20%. And then the other 80% is, like, a panel of 16, like, NFL media, like, whatever, like, who decided, basically. It's like, how the fuck do you go in there and say to yourself, you know who I'm going to give it to? The guy who lost to the guy who should get it twice.
To me, you know what I would take pride in as an award, more as like a player, is the NFL Network Top 100.
Yeah.
Because that's voted on solely by the
players.
And I don't think you can vote for, like, guys on your own team either.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I mean? So it's like, you can't just be sitting there as like Edelman being like Brady. Like, you have to pick a different quarterback than the one that you play for or something like that. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I would take more pride in that.
Honestly, the only really NFL award that I have like respect for at all is the Walter Payton Man of the Year. Like, that's always goes to like just somebody who's just like, that's a fucking good guy, you know? Like, what?
I think Justin Tucker won that award for the Ravens this year, and he's like embedded in that fucking.
I mean, like the one who wins it like for the whole league.
I understand that, but still, there's a team winner for every team, and the guy that won it for the Ravens has been pulling his dick out on massage therapists.
Well, that just goes to show you that everybody else on that team is probably a monster.
Yeah.
So,
Man of the Year.
Yeah. Anyway.
You want to talk about another sport, baseball?
Yeah.
I was recently introduced into a thing called an Aztec sword. Are you familiar with this?
No.
So I guess they didn't wield like metal swords in the, what would you call that? The Mesoamericans.
Yeah.
They basically had a fucking bat or like a piece of wood or a club or something like that, and they would take this volcanic glass that's called obsidian.
Yeah.
And they would line it like on the bat.
Yeah.
And then when obsidian breaks, it just breaks into more sharper obsidian.
Yeah.
So there's no sharpening needed. So essentially, like, if you take like a like a Roman sword or something into battle, eventually, like, if you don't get killed, your sword's going to become dull because you've been fucking whacking it so much. But this shit, it like never becomes dull. You know what I mean? Because it just breaks more and it's still sharp.
Becomes like basically like a grenade you wield in your fucking hand.
And then they would put it in like, it'd be like there'd be a gap in between each one. So like you'd fucking get somebody with this and then pull it. And it'd be like a chainsaw ripping effect. You know what I mean? With like each one fucking cutting you. And so I'm like watching this documentary about the Aztec sword and everything like this. And like the first thing that pops into my mind is like, that's why all these motherfuckers are so good at baseball.
Yeah.
I've been swinging these goddamn Aztec swords for fucking years. And now you give them a fucking, a medium to fucking succeed in. It's like, oh, all right, of course. Of course he's very good at this.
Those are Mexicans. Mexicans aren't good at baseball.
Well, I would think that
they're okay at baseball. There's a couple Mexicans.
This is encompassing all of this.
Yeah, we're sweeping like Dominicans into it.
Yes,
gotcha.
Yeah,
all right.
Everybody that was in that culture. There's a comedian Godfrey something, and he's fucking
the black guy.
Yeah, he like went to the Caribbean, and he's like, it's fucking hilarious to me that you guys don't think you're black.
Yeah,
he's like, no, papi, I'm Dominican. My hair is not the same, and he's like, that's the same fucking hair, Poppy. I'm sorry to tell you this. He's like, do you not know how the slave trade worked? Like, you motherfuckers are black. And he's like, no, Poppy, no. So, yeah, it's just funny for me to think about that. And the whole time he was, like, doing that, like, in my head, it's like David Ortiz having this back and forth. Yeah. I was like, this is great.
Oh, yeah, David Ortiz is definitely black.
Yeah. No doubt about it. Oh, I got one more joke about football before we put it into bed. Patrick Mahomes still done one thing that Tom Brady never did, and that's throw a pick six to a fucking white guy.
Damn. Yeah, Cooper DeJean.
Damn. Damn. The best meme about Cooper DeJean is, what's that movie, Road Trip?
Yeah.
Where the skinny kid, he starts getting all the black pussy. And they're like, this is what Cooper DeJean looks like when he gets home back to Philly after the Super Bowl.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. And then there was another great one with him as I forget the guy's name. It's Napoleon Dynamite's brother with LaFwanda.
Yeah. Yeah, what is that fucking guy's name?
I don't know. And then I saw another good one where it was from Talladega Nights, and it's like Taylor Swift and Cooper DeJean are who's the guy that's not Ricky Bobby? You know how they date?
Yeah.
When Travis Kelce is the head, and like essentially Travis Kelce is Will Ferrell in that movie, and now Will Ferrell's best friend is marrying his wife, and it's Cooper DeJean and Taylor Swift together now.
So
yeah, sorry about that horrible fucking last 5 minutes of me trying to explain that meme.
Well, I understand that you've just been in like a fucking bath of fucking dirty ass memes.
Oh yeah, dude, this is like, I'm telling you, like for a Super Bowl that I didn't necessarily watch because I was like clinging into consciousness the whole time.
Yeah.
I kept waking, like, not really waking up, but just like, oh, what's going on in this? And just seeing the Chiefs getting the fuck beat out of them every time, being like, everything is fucking great in this world.
Yeah.
And then the next day I wake up and it's like all of this shit on the memes that I just never even thought about. You know what I mean? Like Steve Spagnuolo is the defensive coordinator for the Giants both time they beat the Patriots. Eat crow. Like just fucking you know what I mean? All this shit about how Mahomes' fucking GOAT status is flying out the window. Like having Brady commenting on this shit. It's just like as a Patriots fan with nothing to root for anymore, it's just like this has just been a great.
You know what the scary thing about Mahomes is right now? Is that
is he even 30 years old?
No. Yeah. He still could have like 11 more seasons of this.
Yeah. Yeah, but
like
I'm telling you, dude, it's
really
mentally exhausting to fucking be this far involved every year in and year out. And it's like, if you think about it, it's like, bro, if you're this tired after
for $52 million a year, I would do it.
I'm not saying he's not going to do it. I'm not saying he's going to disappear into the sewers.
Yeah.
But I'm just trying to say, like, you know how hard it is to get to this mountaintop time and time again. And it's like, if your whole motivation is to go and catch Tommy, like, you still have to make it to, like,
he needs a whole other run.
You have to.
Yeah. He needs like a whole rebuild of a team.
You need to complete another three-peat.
Yeah.
And win another one.
Oh,
just to tie Tom Brady.
Well, no. So here's the thing you're not realizing is if he just matches Tom Brady, he's going to surpass Tom Brady. Because, again, if we want to go back to all, and I'm not saying it even in my eyes, but I'm just saying in the eyes of everybody. But if you want to go back to your previous discussion about Joe Burrow and the stats and how this has never happened, when it's all said and done, if Patrick Mahomes plays like a career that like spans the same length of time that Tom Brady does, with the extra game, with the added like emphasis on the passing game. Because Brady, even in the early start of his career, didn't have nearly the numbers that Patrick Mahomes has been putting up for the past 6-7 years. He really only became this offensive weapon when Moss showed up. So like. Spanning that time, he's going to have all of the stats. He's going to have, if he has 6 Super Bowls, then he's going to have 6 Super Bowls. Like, there won't be a discussion. However, it's so fucking hard to do that. Brady had, like, arguably
10 years in between Super Bowl victories.
Well, and also Tom Brady had, like, 3, like, if you want to consider them, like, 3 distinct eras of Tom Brady, where that middle era with, like, the Welker and the Moss, they weren't winning Super Bowls, but he was still putting up all the numbers. But, like, this is still technically, like, Patrick Mahomes, like, Matt Light era. Like, fucking early Vrabel, Brewski. Like, that's this dynasty.
No,
Mahomes could still have 2 more.
Nah, bro, this is the beginning. This is...
No, this is the tail end.
No, it's not. This is Mahomes' 2007 Patriots moment.
2007? Well, no.
Or maybe...
No, 8. Yeah, no.
Maybe it's his
That's what I'm saying.
Maybe it's his 2011 moment, right?
So I would consider the Patriots, like, next one to start at 08. 08 was the undefeated year, right?
07.
07 was undefeated? Okay. So, yeah. So
I guess the Super Bowl's played in 08 of that year. So is that what you call it? It's the 2008 season?
2007, 2008. So, yeah, all right. So, what I'm saying, though, is this is the final season of that first iteration of the Chiefs. And then what he has to now do is continue on with what what Brady's, like, Moss years was. Because, like, Kelsey's going to be gone now, and that's going to be the end of that. So now he's going to have to figure out his next way of winning.
Yeah.
If they can do that, like I said, he might still have 2 more eras left in him. And he's already got 3. It's hard to do, but it's not impossible. Once you have the quarterback position
solidified. How long are you going to have Andy Reid, too? Is Andy Reid going to coach that long? Like,
I mean, I think Andy Reid's going to coach till he dies.
I still think, well, he's fucking not taking too good of care of himself. Yeah, so I think it's going to be tough, bro. Like, and to further your point, like, okay, so if you want to say Brady's first generation of Tom Brady is the first 3 rings that he gets, right? 01, and then he does
and then a little bit of the aftermath.
But then he does the repeat, right? So Mahomes did the repeat, right? And then the next Super Bowl that he comes through trying to three-peat, now essentially you've lost to the Giants.
Yeah.
And what do you do when you go 15-1? Everybody says that you're the best. Everybody says that you're the GOAT. You're the media darling. You're in every fucking, you know what I mean? How do you recover from that? And it's like, that's what this is. This loss to Patrick Mahomes is what the 07 loss to Tom, or 08, whatever you want to call it, loss to Tom Brady is. And it's like, when you're on top of the world and you fucking don't get it done, who do you fucking turn to look in the mirror and fucking get it going again? So let me see it. And now to Mahomes' point or Brady's deficit, whatever, it took Brady 10 years to fucking get another chip.
Yeah.
It's like, will it take Mahomes that long? I don't know. But it's like, if you want to throw stats in there, fine. But if Mahomes only ties Brady, I'm sorry, you can't fucking say that he's the GOAT because Brady's got him head-to-head in the Super Bowl. Brady's got him head-to-head in the AFC Championship game. Like, when it mattered the most, like, you don't get to see what happened when Jordan played LeBron. You don't get to see what happened when Andre Agassi plays fucking whoever some fucking tennis nerd is from the 50s. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But in this case, you actually got to see what happened when they played each other. And it's like Brady got the best of him more often than not. So I can't say, you know, like, I don't know. I will give you that, like, the most current thing is what the media calls the GOAT.
Yeah.
But in some certain instances, I don't know. Because, like, nobody's dethroned Jordan. You know, some people might say.
Some people say. Most people at this point, I think. I
don't think it's most, bro.
I think
it's less than 33%.
Other than old heads, everyone says it's LeBron now.
There's no fucking way, dude.
Like, I bet you,
dude. I'm from a different fucking timeline, bro. If they could just fire that particle accelerator up and send me home to where fucking Artie Lang is dead and the Berenstain Bears exist.
I think if you asked the majority of 20 to 30-year-olds who the best basketball player to ever live was, I think it's 51-49, but I bet you they say LeBron. I mean, that's just I'm taking like a census of like the people I've always asked who are in that age range, who I've worked with or whatever, or have sat at the bar, but the overwhelming majority feel like it's LeBron. You know? I don't agree with that. I don't agree with even comparing them in the first place because, A, they're 2 entirely different basketball players playing in 2 entirely different eras of basketball. So, I mean, take that for what it's worth. But yeah, like, some people like think that, you know, it's not even a question that it's LeBron. I personally think Kobe was better than LeBron.
Yeah, like
So,
I say that all the time. I don't understand
I put fucking LeBron at 3. And really, if you want to talk about the greatest of all time, I don't even know how you define that. But, I mean, I don't even understand why there's not a big man in the discussion. Like, how do you not put Bill Russell? Fucking guy's 11 fucking rings.
Yeah.
Like, how do you not talk about Shaq?
Prime Shaq,
Prime
bro.
Shaq.
Like, we talked about this last time,
Yeah.
like, about, you know, how do you not draft him number 1 overall in, like, a Legends
Yeah, so I
kind of
mean,
thing? You
to
know,
me, like, you know, I don't even know if I would put LeBron in the top 5. I know that's fucking crazy, but, like, I think there's arguments to be made for other people. I mean, and I'm leaving off Kareem, who everyone just, you know, during that period of time, it was a given that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was the greatest player to ever live.
Yeah.
I mean, now he's kind of like, he's fallen into like that, you know, people have forgotten about how dominant he was when he was playing.
I got to send you this thing. I don't know why you weren't on the list of people that I sent this to. And I've been trying to track down the original podcast. So if anybody knows what it is, leave it in the comments section. But it's this guy talking basketball, and he's like, basically, he's shitting on KD.
Yeah.
And he's saying, KD is not legendary.
Yeah.
Did I send that to you?
No, but you told me about it the last time.
Oh,
Yeah,
did I? All
yeah.
right. And he just fucking, he throws Kareem in there. You know what I mean? Like all the guys that actually did legendary shit.
Yeah.
So to me, I just, you know, bringing it all back to the Mahomes Brady thing, it's like there's just a lot left on the table, man. Like Brady played for 20 plus years. That's an oddity in the NFL.
Yeah.
It's like I know Mahomes is putting the numbers up and everything like that, but how many years is he gonna play? You know what I mean? Especially if they're not going to build a line for him, and they're not, and he's
that
not.
would be my concern.
Yeah, like he's getting the fucking shit kicked out of him. You know what I mean?
And a part of his game is the mobile element. He's not like a scrambler per se, but like a lot of it is rolling out and like extending the play and like you know, and then on top of that, using his arm because he's got a fucking cannon to like then like throw it downfield. What happens when he gets fucking planted and he fucking separates his shoulder, and then all of a sudden three shoulder surgeries later, like is he still slinging it like that?
He can throw it with his other arm.
Well, you remember like the Peyton Manning, like of the fucking latter years,
couldn't feel his fingertips.
Yeah, his fucking neck was screwed on basically.
Yep.
Like dude was throwing ducks. He was still. They were fucking well-placed ducks, but that's the part of the game you got to develop. That's cerebral.
Yeah.
That was Peyton Manning being like, I know my shit looks ugly, but I'm going to throw it in an area where no one's standing, and in 8 seconds, my guy's going to be under that ball and nobody else is. Like, that's a fucking... Actually, that is more of a fucking crazy skill than Patrick Mahomes throwing it through a fucking brick wall. Because it's like, dude, that guy could read defenses so well that he's like, I'm going to throw this fucking ugly-ass duck up in the air to that spot, and my guy's going to be there and only my guy.
Yeah.
That's fucking wild.
Dude, that's like I think that's the number one like tragedy in the NFL in my eyes is like the fact that like I feel like Peyton Manning almost gets forgotten about.
Yeah. Oh, I consider
in the discussion. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's fucking like obviously I rooted against him the whole time he was playing just for, you know, basically AFC Championship against my team all the time.
Yeah.
And he got us a few fucking times where it broke my fucking heart. And it's like I don't know how people don't, you know, you talk about Mahomes, Brady, fucking people bring up Marino, Elway, all this shit. Like, how does the sheriff get overpassed in these conversations? Like,
yeah, I mean,
it's just crazy.
If you want to talk about like, you know, the greatest of all time is Tom Brady, I'm not even going to debate that. But like pure passer, the best quarterback of all time is Peyton Manning. Like, period. And I'm sorry, like, you know, Tom Brady, don't get me wrong, is the greatest football player of all time, but just pure passer, pure like knowledge of the game, like tactician, it's Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning is fucking... Dude, when he was on the field, there would just be times like there'd be stretches of game where you'd just be like, how the fuck can anyone possibly even stop this guy? Like, he's unstoppable.
And they always, it's crazy, like they like the early, or not real early, like I don't even know when I want to pull the plug on this, but the GM that wasn't on that team, they just
Polian.
Yeah, but they
Bill
just
Polian.
always seem to like surround him with the right people. They always found the receivers for him. They always found the tight ends for him. You know, it's like, what was the biggest problem for him? It's probably the defense, right? Like, the defense could never hold.
Yeah,
pat.
I mean, outside of that one, even the one Super Bowl year, it was kind of like the one year where I think that was like Dwight Freeney. Like they finally, who's the corner? Who's the corner? Pollard? Is that like the Pollard era?
Bernard Pollard?
Yeah.
No, he never played for the Colts.
Who am I thinking
of? Bob Sanders?
Yes,
he was
Bob
like
Sanders. Yeah.
But he would always get hurt. Like, I feel like Bob Sanders like never played in the playoffs.
That's just it. That was the one year where like everything kind of came together.
Got hurt.
Where And then obviously they got to play the fucking Rex Grossman-led Bears, so that helped.
Yeah. And I mean, the Patriots fucking blow like a 20-point second half lead in that AFC Championship game. And it's like, I don't think it's in the snow. I think it's in Indy in a dome.
Wasn't it a snow game?
I mean, they've definitely played the Colts at home in the snow, but this particular time, the Colts were hosting the AFC Championship game. They blow that game in Indy.
Yeah.
I don't know if they play in a dome or not, but they blew that game in Indy. I know that for sure.
So I mean, that to me is like, yeah, Peyton will go down in history, in my opinion, is like, anybody who says like, oh, Marino's the best, it's like, well, he didn't win the title and he doesn't have any of the numbers now. Peyton Manning is unparalleled.
Marino still has some kind of crazy numbers.
Marino's numbers are fucking nuts for the era. I will say that.
Another crazy thing that I wanted to talk about earlier, but I held my tongue, is fucking, we're talking about, dude, even with the extra game and all this shit, nobody's surpassed Chris Johnson's 2,500 yards from scrimmage.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? With all of the extra offensive production and everything like that, the extra game, the emphasis on passing, like nobody's touched that 2,500 yards. Like,
I mean, Saquon came close.
That's
this year.
wild.
I think Saquon ended with like 23 something.
He got 2,000, but yeah. So what? You played an extra game and you were still a 200-yard game away from breaking that record.
Yeah,
that's fucking wild.
Yeah.
Who the fuck was his quarterback
of those teams? It was Kerry Collins.
I don't think it was. Who's the fuck? Was it Vince Young? It's either Vince Young or Kerry Collins. Kerry Collins was the backup, and then I think once they give up on Vince, Collins comes back in.
Well, are we talking? Wasn't that the year that they actually were good? Wasn't that like the year that they like were the 1 seed and then lost in the first round? Was that like 08 maybe?
Is that the same game as?
It's like him and Lendell White, wasn't it?
Yeah, but I think
that's Kerry Collins.
It might be the same team that gets fucked up in this. Like I was at this game, the snow game against the Titans, where like Randy Moss, they score like 60 points or some shit.
Yeah,
it might be that same team, and that's just like a big loss that they have that year. You know what I mean?
That was Kerry Collins. That was like post Vince Young. Vince Young wasn't the quarterback for all that long.
Kerry Collins comes after Vince Young.
Yeah, if he was like in that 06, 07 era. But Vince Young, I think, was like 04, 05, I want to say.
He's a fucking bust.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he was, part of the dream team, that Eagles team that, like, remember him saying that? He's like, oh, we built, like, the dream team, and then they ended up, like, winning, like, 6 games.
No, I don't remember that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah?
Oh, he was better than fucking, who's Matt Leinart. They were the same draft class. Remember? That was like the last college football championship that I really actually watched and gave a shit about. It's USC Texas.
I'm trying to think of the last one that I watched and really cared about.
It was a really good game, but
yeah.
The whole era, that was like right after that last Hurricanes run.
Yeah.
Because you're the same thing. I was a Hurricanes fan.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I've never been a college football fan.
Yeah.
But I've always been of the ilk of like pick a team from where you're from. So it's like I've always fought against like just being on my dad's team of the Hurricanes.
Yeah.
And like being like, like BC or something, you know what I mean? Like, but
BC's never going to be relevant.
That's what I'm saying. Like if you want to root for somebody who actually gets to fight in the fight, like go Canes, I guess.
But even then, they like I said, they haven't been relevant in 20 fucking years.
But I never got into college football the way that I've been into like other sports.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think it does have something to do with the.
Well, it's a regional thing anyway. The southern people like fucking college football. Like nobody up north gives a shit. But southern people are always wild. Like they're always so surprised to hear that. Whenever like you hear like a southerner at the bar talking about sports, they're like, "Well, I like the fucking Aggies and blah blah blah." And they're like, "Who's your team?" I'm like, "Dude, I don't even know like who the fuck even plays college football around here." It's like, what am I gonna go see? A fucking URI Tar Heels game? Like, no, nobody gives a shit.
Yeah, I've seen quite a few good memes about like, well, now I'm going to have to commit domestic violence because the 19-year-old on my favorite football team didn't catch the ball.
Yeah.
Like for the college that I never attended.
Yeah. Oh, have you seen the movie Rudy?
Vaguely.
Okay, never mind then.
Like I feel like I watched it like on a day where a substitute rolled the TV into the classroom.
I'm in like in the midst of a heated debate with these dudes at work who had never seen Rudy before. And I was like, oh, dude, Rudy's like the greatest football movie like ever made. I mean, granted, you have to kind of divorce yourself from the fact
that the replacements exist.
Is that the Keanu Reeves?
Keanu Reeves, yeah.
Shane Falco. No, but you just have to, like, the guy ended up being kind of like a piece of shit. He, like, embezzled money or something. And, like, obviously the story is, it's Disney-fied, so it's not like all...
Who embezzled money?
The dude, the Rudy Rudiger.
Oh, like
whatever.
he was a hero and then he becomes a Brett Favre?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think it was, like, to the same level as Brett Favre, but, like, he ended up, like, getting into hot water for something. I can't remember what. But it wasn't anything, like, too shitty. It was like he was molesting kids. It was something financial or something. But,
he's not a Penn State graduate.
yeah, exactly. Oh, Jesus Christ, that story. No, but fucking, so I'm just like, yeah, fucking Rudy. It's, the greatest fucking football movie ever made. And they're like, well, what about Remember the Titans? I'm like, yeah, it's better than Remember the Titans. And they were like shocked that I would have that opinion. Like, did you watch Remember the Titans?
I feel like I got
the Denzel one. Denzel's like the black head coach. He comes in to like take over the white college football town.
Nope. See, I was getting that crossed up with like the Al Pacino one.
Oh, Any Given Sunday?
Yeah. So no, I've never seen Remember the Titans.
All right, well, whatever. Either way, it's like it's an okay movie, but like they seem to, I don't like that next generation thinks it's like the best goddamn sports movie ever made.
Fights racism.
Yeah.
Shane Gillis has a funny take on that.
Yeah, I know. I've seen that. Well, that's another thing too. Is like they're shitting on me because Rudy is like, oh, that wasn't even real life. They talk about it later. It was all like made up for the movie or whatever. And I was like, do you think for 1 second, that actual story of a black head coach coaching white kids didn't end with a million N-words being said?
Yeah.
Like, you're out of your fucking mind, dude. It was 1972 in Alabama. Like, of course there was the N-word being thrown around. Like, you guys are fucked in the head. Like, unbelievable.
Were some of the people with these opinions wearing slip-on boots?
Yes.
Hi.
One of them. Yeah.
I know who you are. I'm not going to say your name, but I'm disappointed in you.
Well, that also, he came at me with, he was like, no, well, I asked all my friends, because this has been like a multi-day argument. He was like,
Yeah.
I asked all my friends what their opinion of it was, and they all said, Remember the Titans. And I was like, are all your friends white? He was like, yeah. And I'm like, they're too afraid to tell you.
Yeah.
It's like, that's what it is. It's like, you have a bunch of white guys who just are like, I'm not going to tell this black guy that Remember the Titans is worse than Rudy, so I'm just going to keep that opinion to myself.
It's like, you don't know Adam Sandler made a terrible football movie? That was 2 terrible football movies. They're both way better.
Yeah. Anyway.
I don't know. I think, honestly, for good times, like, I've seen that Shane Falco movie on USA and TNT enough times.
It's a good flick.
Where I'm like, hey, I'll leave it on.
Mm-hmm. Gene Hackman.
Yeah.
The head coach. Yep.
This is just like, it's like Neo took the pill that they give the other guy. He's like, I just want to go. I don't want to know.
Yep.
I just want to be a quarterback. Fuck hot chicks.
I know the answer to this is no, but one of my favorite movies growing up is this movie called Best of Times. It's got Kurt Russell and Robin Williams. And it's like, it's basically like these guys who like live in the past of like their high school glory years or whatever. And Robin Williams plays the guy who like dropped the big catch in like the state championship or whatever. So they go back to like replay that game like 20 years later. Kurt Russell was like the quarterback of the team and shit. And since then, like all the guys that they played against are all like professional football players and shit. So it's like a bunch of just ragtag dudes working like the steel mill of the town against like, whatever professional level football players. It's a fucking good movie. But there's a part where Kurt Russell has like he has like his special white shoes that he breaks out only like for the big game, and he didn't wear them that game or whatever. Then at halftime, it's like a muddy, sloppy game, and he comes out with like the white shoes on. Everybody's like, "Oh shit, it's the white shoes!"
That's like from the Sandlot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, so this was the OG, the one. This is probably like 86 or 87. This movie was, but yeah, it was a good movie.
I'm just thinking
Check
about
it out. Best of Times.
I'm thinking about the casting director talking to Robin Williams, and they're like, now you're going to play a character whose past haunts him to think about killing himself every day. And Robin Williams was like...
That's actually exactly how it was.
Robin Williams was like, I got it. I'm going to fucking nail it, bro.
I know exactly what I'm doing here.
I am going to nail it.
Yeah. Yep.
Robin Williams tried to make me think transgenderism is okay, though. I see what you were doing on Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yeah. Yeah, that was kind of like some sleeper cell shit. I've recently watched that movie. It still holds up. It's a good movie. It's funny.
I feel like I fucking like Robin Williams. I'm sad.
I love Robin
that his
Williams.
life went the way that it went.
I mean, are you though? Like, we got everything out of him.
Yeah.
All these people that are just like, he had so much left to give. It's like, I don't know, man. Did he? He was starring movies with Joel McHale. Like, come on. It's over.
Well, I think there's just I don't know. I don't want to say that I've been to I would venture to say that the two of us have not to patronize, but survived lows in our lives that would crush the other 99% of the world into having addiction issues, lifetime of therapy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Dysfunctional families. Like, it's like we've seen things that we shouldn't have, and we've moved on and kind of fixed ourselves out of it. You know what I mean?
And we've also used humor, though, as a way of getting around it.
Yeah.
You know?
So to me, to see that eventually, like, all of the demons that I fought against, all the times I've thought about putting a fucking gun in my mouth, like a guy like that finally fucking loses the battle. Like, that's sad to me. You know what I mean? Like, as much of a joke as I want to make about it, like, I feel like Robin Williams would laugh at the joke that I made.
Yeah.
But if you do think about it, you're like, damn, bro, like, that's a dude, that's a bro that was fighting the struggle like us, and he didn't make it.
Yeah.
You know,
At the
like,
same time, though, he was diagnosed with Parkinson's, and it was getting worse. So, like,
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, that's why he killed himself, was because he didn't want to be remembered
go down
way.
like that.
Yeah.
I can respect that.
So I mean, to me, it's like it's less about obviously.
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So he was diagnosed with Parkinson's, and he was like kind of starting to feel like the tremors and all that shit, and was just like, I'm all set with this.
I don't want to do this.
Yeah. Which I'll be honest with you, because my the grandfather was the alleged Nazi. Alleged. He had Alzheimer's, like real bad, and early onset Alzheimer's. So that was when I was like, shit. So I was like probably
that's how my
second, third grade.
That's how my dad's mom went, man.
Yeah. Well, so I was in second or third grade, so he was probably like fucking. I think he was only like 61 when he got Alzheimer's. So from that moment on, like he was just like it was a gradual decline, but eventually it got to the point where like you're a prisoner of your own mind. And like I watched him, like he was like such a smart, like fucking razor, like fucking wit, like guy, always had a line for something, just like a great, charming, awesome guy. And like, dude, you just devolve into like a fucking mush of a person.
Yeah.
Like, he was like, I'd spend like nights over there or whatever, and like you'd wake up in the middle of the night, the whole fucking house would be like all going off with the alarms and shit, and he'd be like standing in the middle of the garage in his underwear kind of shit.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, watching him like descend into that though, if I get Alzheimer's, man, my first stop is going to be like, I'm going to fucking Walmart and get myself a shotgun.
Yeah.
Because the moment I wake up and I don't know where I'm at is the moment where I'm going to be like, the moment I remember where I am, I'm blowing my fucking brains out.
And at that point, it's like too late. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you kind of become a prisoner. Well, even then, then maybe, honestly, that's probably how it would go down. If I got a diagnosis with Alzheimer's, I'm just going to be like, I'm going to have a dinner with all the people I love, and then I'm going to do one last shit, and I'm not even going to tell anybody. I'm just going to be like, oh yeah, let's get everyone together. And then like afterwards, the next day, I'm fucking blowing my brains out. Like, I'm not doing that.
Have you ever seen the Faces of Death VHS?
Yeah.
Like, and there's the one
we've talked about this, but yeah,
it's the guy. I think it's like the most famous one.
Yeah.
Like the guy's like he hands all these envelopes out to the people, and then he just fucking blows his top off with like a pistol, and everybody's like,
holy shit.
What the fuck? And at least Brennan's like a gentleman. He'll be like, we're going to have a nice dinner, and then you're just not going to hear from me tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
well, I'm just going to go.
You don't need to see it.
Yeah. I'm going to go into the woods. I'm going to blow my fucking brains out. And before I go into the woods, I'm going to call the police and be like, hey, just so you know, there's going to be a dead body out here. And then that'll be the end of it,
Yeah, and then like nobody needs to stumble. No jogger needs to be traumatized
there's
for the
no
rest
mess
of their
to clean
life.
up. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the birds will eat it.
Yeah.
It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Years later, they'll chop a tree down, and a fragment of your skull will be found in a discarded bird's nest, and
pretty much
everything will be right in the universe.
Yep. Yeah, I don't intend on living through that shit though, unless they come up with some sort of serious cure for it, which I don't think is going to be happening anytime soon.
Dude, have you heard anything about that? How like Alzheimer's is just like a form of diabetes?
Oh, I didn't know that. But
like it's something like whatever is in your brain is like mostly like trans fat or something like that. And it's like when that...
So it's like the pancreas of the brain?
I don't know. When that dissipates, it's like, it literally is like a form of diabetes. Yeah. And it's like there's... I don't know. It's like... I don't know. It's like it's a black hole of conspiracy that hasn't like... I haven't crossed the event. I haven't crossed the event horizon of it yet. Yeah.
Another good movie.
Bro, that's another movie I feel like you put on the list where you watch it for the first time and you're like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah. That's a fucking... When that movie came out, that was a fucking crazy
movie.
What's
the premise of that movie?
Well, it's like a ghost ship, basically. Like a ghost spaceship. And then they like find it and it's like been like haunted by like space ghosts. Yeah.
So like everything is just ghosts.
I think so, yeah. Just or like,
like I feel like if you watch that movie and it ends, you're still to this day like...
Yeah. Well, they all die, right? Nobody gets off of it.
I don't remember.
Alert. Yeah. Pretty sure everybody does.
I remember I haven't heard...
I just remember the fucking dude from Jurassic Park with like glass in his eyes. Remember that?
Newman?
No, the main character of Jurassic Park. He plays like he's like the scientist guy on the board of Event Horizon, and then like at the end he like gets like possessed by the ship or whatever, and he just like shoves glass in his eyes.
I do kind of recall that now. Yeah.
Anyway,
that's a weird one. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a weird movie. You ever see In the Mouth of Madness?
Nope.
No, that was another movie another horror movie starring that guy. It was a fucking crazy movie.
Dude, I've been watching this guy called Froggy Flips on YouTube, and he just basically, like, he's like a toy collector, but he's like our age, you know what I mean? So he's into, like, fucking Ghostbusters and fucking Star Wars and G.I. Joe and all this shit. But he likes horror stuff more than anything, so he's into more of, like, the gross out. Yeah, but not like these, like, fucking, like, expensive, like, horror movie, like, statues, you know what I mean? Like, he's, like, tracking down, like, Dracula toys and stuff, like toys, like not like fucking ultra level nerd.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? How they have like nerd statues that you can buy. He's not doing that. Like he's like finding nostalgia things. Like, but one of the things that he does is he collects like old school like VHS horror tapes. And it's like every time I see him pick up a collection, I'm like, bro, there's probably like 5 bangers in here that Brendan's like, you haven't seen this?
Yeah.
This is a fucking banger. So like, to me, I always watch this, and I'm like, I don't know why I don't stop at, like, Savers on my way home a few times a week and see if there's anything I can sell online. You know what I mean? But I always think about, like, going through the VHS section and making Renee watch all these stupid movies with me, and then I'll have something to talk with you about.
Yeah.
But we don't have any time to watch movies together, so it's never going to happen.
Well,
just be more hoarding.
I mean, I still have... you still have to watch Braveheart, man. Like, that absolutely has to be the next thing you watch. Like, Braveheart is so good. So good.
It's like I watched Braveheart, and now like all of a sudden it's like, bro, I found some Scotsman in my ancestry DNA.
Dude,
I'm wearing kilts.
That to me is like the most surprising thing is that how good Braveheart is. It's like such the perfect movie for you. Like I feel like you should have like made your entire personality around this fucking movie. Like watching this movie in the 90s, I think would have changed your life forever.
You know what I think is pretty funny though is like my whole personality for the most part is built around like football and R&B and basketball and rap. You know what I mean? Like,
so you're basically a black guy.
Yeah, like I fucking I don't know, like a lot of stuff that I'm doing is like black guy stuff. I walk around smelling like weed all the time. I just bought a Nissan Altima.
Yeah.
I got fucking Jordans through the fucking roof. You know what I mean? Like I'm doing black guy stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like this podcast makes me seem like I don't like black guys, but it's like I fucking love black guys.
Yeah. I am one.
The right amount of them.
I just want to do hood rat shit with my hood rat friends.
Oh, bro, that is one of the all-time fucking bangers of like early fucking.
Oh yeah, like what is that? Like a Vine or something?
It's not even. I guess. I never had Vine back in the day, but that kid saying I just wanted to do hood rat stuff with my friends.
Yeah.
And like his whole explanation of stuff, like that's one of the best movies ever. Like why that kid doesn't have like, you know, like T-shirts with his fucking picture on it and shit. And I don't know. Like I left Restaurant Depot yesterday because I was buying like all my dog food stuff. And I saw a guy, it was like a nice truck. I forgot what kind of truck. I think it was like a newer Nissan Titan or something like that. But the license plate had 4 letters on it. All it said was GUAC, guac. And I'm like, bro, is this like the richest fucking Mexican I've ever seen in my life right here? So I like walk up to the truck. I'm like fully prepared because my car was like right there. I wasn't just being like a weirdo. Yeah. But I like point at the dude and I like point down at where his license plate is. And I go like this. And then he rolls down the window, and it's like the whitest fucking guy I've ever seen in my life. I'm like,
I like guacamole.
I'm like, you can't have a license plate that says guac. Like, that's supposed to be for like one of my boys from fucking Guatemala or something like that. What the fuck? So, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, dude, I bought a fucking... I really splurged for myself in this dog food stuff, and I bought myself a meat grinder and I guess what the restaurant industry would call a robo-coop.
Yeah.
It's not a robo-coop, though. It's like a less expensive robo-coop.
Okay, still, food processor, though, still.
Yeah, but it still costs like $200-something. Yeah. It's just not like the $1,000 one.
Right,
That...
And like fucking grind tin cans. Yeah.
This motherfucker puts in work, bro.
Yeah.
Like, so... My biggest problem with the dog food is like trying to get a homogenous blend of stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
where it's all mixed together.
So then now I got the meat grinder. I'm like, great. That turned it into like pellets and shit like that. And then I bought the food processor and I just been putting like the frozen peas, carrots, broccoli, cauliflower, peppers, beets, like whatever I got in there. And that thing like fucking turns into the dust, dude. It's like a couple fucking, it's like I just keep getting better and better at this shit, dude. It's taking me less and less time. I'm almost going to be back to like enjoying my life again.
There you go. I can't wait for your dog to look at you and be like, "Thanks, Ryan,"
and just die and be like, "Good thing you bought all this infrastructure for a 15-year-old dog. I don't got much time left." But I do want to say one thing, I guess, in closing, because we're kind of getting long here.
Yeah.
Your boy worked 5 weeks in a row with 6 days.
Why?
Because I love it.
Yeah. Okay.
I took 2 days off this week.
Nice.
This girl texted me yesterday. She goes, "Hey, we closed for the snow on Sunday. I'd really love to pick your shift up if you don't want to work it."
Yeah.
And whenever anybody texts me this shit, especially at the tavern, because it's all girls, and I'm like, I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to get me kicked off my shift. You know those construction workers love the young ladies way more than having me back there. And it's just me being a psycho. You know what I mean? Just like Michael Jordaning myself into like working 6 days a week and paying off my insurmountable mountain of student debt of classes that I never attended. And so... Yeah, I gave the broad my shift. I fucking went to the DMV. I went to Restaurant Depot. I fucking did like a million things yesterday, and I still got a whole day off today. It's amazing.
Yeah.
2 days off is like the fuck. I've never had this much free time for like 5 weeks.
Look at you.
It's crazy.
Yeah. You got to stop hyping yourself up. You've heard the KG story, right? With Dirk?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
He said it in German.
It's like, I don't know about that, man.
Bro, that's a good podcast. If you're not watching the Paul Pierce KG podcast, especially if you're like a Boston guy, that and like the Gronk and Edelman podcast, you're missing out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll
big
miss
time.
out. That's fine.
I don't know if there's a Boston Red Sox equivalent to this yet, but
probably not.
You hate Papelbon, but if it was like Papelbon and some other idiot from that era, like Papelbon and Manny Ramirez or some shit, and they were like friends.
Yeah, I mean, I think...
Or even if Manny and Poppy had a podcast, bro, I'd be hard all day long.
Well, you wouldn't be able to understand what the fuck they were talking about the entire time. Yeah. No, Papelbon, I feel like the Phillies like kind of like claim Papelbon now more than the Red Sox even do. Because he won a title with them, too.
I don't recall that.
Yeah, I think it was 2009. But I think he's more of a Philly than he is a Red Sox at this point.
There's no way, bro. Papelbon be doing like fucking Irish jigging and stuff. Like you can't take that away from me.
Oh my god. I wish I could, but I can't.
You can't.
Yeah. All right. I think it was a football heavy episode, but it was a good one.
That's all right. I never thought that I'd be so happy to see the Birds win, but go Birds.
Yeah.
Thank you for everything you did for me. Your brother Ryan Long, I guess, must be very happy.
He is very happy.
There's a comedian version of your brother named Ryan Long.
Yeah, that kind of fucks me up.
Yeah.
I used to work with a girl who married a guy named Ryan Long, too, and it would always fuck me up. Because, like, I was friends with her on Facebook. So it'd be like, she would tag Ryan Long, and then I would see, like, a picture of, like, somebody else's kids. I'd be like, whose fucking kids are these? And I was like, oh, it's that fucking motherfucker. Yeah.
I feel like your name is, like, the opposite of, like, a name to get made fun of in, like, middle school about.
What do you mean? Oh, yeah.
Like, anybody said, Brennan Long Dick.
Yeah.
Brennan Long Dick, motherfucker.
That's pretty much what it was.
I can't use the little kid urinal because I got a long dick. Brennan Long Dick.
Well, so real quick, my father-in-law was a fucking awesome guy. I would have named all of my kids after my father-in-law if I could have. But my wife was the youngest of all of his daughters, and they all had opportunities to name a fucking kid after him. Like, none of them did, though.
What the fuck?
Right. So it comes to me, and he's like, I want, can you name one of your kids after me? And I was like, Rich, I can't do that. I can't have my kids going around being
Richard
named
Long.
Richard Long. Like,
dude, you missed a great opportunity.
Well, my oldest middle name is Richard, but I was like, just don't tell anybody that. So
excellent.
Yeah, Dick Long. Yeah.
You've told me a lot of things to be disappointed in you in, but this may take the cake.
I can't name it. So I grew up with a kid whose name was fucking Dick Brown. Not even Richard Brown. His name was Dick Brown. And this kid 1,000% is murdering people right now. Like, we fucking destroyed this kid's
crossing
life.
off names of Billy Madison.
Oh my god, dude. Like, we didn't let that kid hear the fucking end of it. Like,
I mean, Dick Brown's pretty bad. It's kind of like, is your Dick Brown from fucking dudes in the ass?
His name was Dick Brown. And not even like I said, his name wasn't Richard. His name was Dick.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that kid is definitely murdering people.
Dick Long
he's
is way
definitely
better.
looking for me right now.
Yeah.
One day I'm going to find that motherfucker. Anyway.
I can't wait until that son grows up to be old enough for me to be like, Dick Long!
That Long Dick, he's old enough. He could take it.
Yeah.
He's 12.
Nice.
Yeah. He's got a big old dick just like his old man.
He's 12. I tried to give him those Legos, and he said, fuck this old man. I got a long dick.
Well, yeah, I mean, shit. I had to talk to him. I had to give him like the talk about like fucking sex and jerking off and shit like a couple months ago, and I was just like, have you been jerking off? And he's like, what's that? I'm like, you'll find out.
You'll figure it out. Just don't do it on the towels that your mother puts on display.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Do you use paper? Use things you could throw away. Don't fucking make all your socks crusty.
It's like fucking his Christmas present next year is just like a gross of
fucking paper towels and toilet paper. Yeah. Spending a lot of time in the bathroom. Here's a roll of toilet paper.
Yeah. There was a dude that went viral recently for like wearing like the shirt that he cleaned his nut off on.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he was like standing in the lunch line or whatever. You could just see it on his back.
Oh,
and you're like, oh man, he's never gonna live this down.
That's fucking disgusting.
I've seen a few kids do that in school in my day.
Yeah.
Just being like, yeah, I know what that is.
Jesus.
I don't want to bring it up because might get made fun of for jerking off, but I know what that is.
Well, we all do it.
Yeah.
All right. On that note.
All right, on that note, don't do it to us. Like, share, and subscribe. Fuck you.
Later, guys.
Yeah.